in the last couple of months, one of the things we have also seen, especially recently, is that there have been repeated attempts to malign anything and everything to do with Prabhu Sri Ram and his devotees.
Yes.
Now, be it the fake controversy around the trust, the Ram Janmabhoomi Trust, or the lies that were blatantly spread about the man in Ghaziabad and the whole propaganda around it. Do you see a pattern to these narratives and these sort of hit jobs, so to say?
Obviously, there's a pattern. The pattern is of Hindu hatred, and they're using Lord Sri Ram as an icon and Jai Sri Ram as a slogan, basically as a stick to beat Hindus with. So that is why there are some ridiculous distinctions being made between हम तो पहले से जय सिया राम बोलते थे, जय Shri Ram is a weaponized slogan. Who says Shri is Lakshmi? Shri is another name for Sita. So Jai Shri Ram and Jai Siya Ram are one and the same things. Jai Siya Ram was spoken in Boli Bhasha and Jai Shri Ram is in Sanskrit. That is a fact. So suddenly saying that Jai Siya Ram is a more feminist slogan because it includes Mother Sita, and Jai Shri Ram is this masculine BJP BJP endorsed Sanghi communal slogan is the kind of propaganda that some people were peddling. And funnily enough, these are the same people who basically say that Lord Shri Ram never existed. He's just a mythological figure. So they are the people who will tell you that Ram Setu didn't exist. It's just a geographical formation of rocks between India and Sri Lanka. These are the same people who went to court and deposed that somebody like Lord Shri Ram never happened. And now they are suddenly saying that Jai Shri Ram की घोषणा बोलना ये हमारे धर्म का अपमान है, ये हमारे भगवान का अपमान है, ये आपका भगवान कैसे हो गया भाई? How did Lord Shri Ram become your God when you have said on several occasions that he doesn't even exist? So when it's convenient for you, he's a mythological figure, and when it's convenient to you, he is this misogynist who basically denounced Ma Sita. You can't have both, no? If it's a mythological figure, then treat the story as a story, right? Then why are you holding him up as a figure of which endorsed misogyny according to you? So these are the people who keep changing their arguments repeatedly, and they're not even ashamed of it. So one day they'll say something, 2 days later they'll say something. And if you point out the discrepancy and if you point out the hypocrisy on different occasions, what they have said, they will not even have the conscience to accept it. They will just move on and spin another web of lies. That is generally the how the so-called leftist thinkers of India operate always, and it's always been like that. So they've been calling Jai Shri Ram as a slogan, and they've been saying that it's a weaponized slogan. Jai Shri Ram weaponized ho gaya, but there is one slogan, one religious slogan, which has been weaponized for thousands of years now, globally. वो स्लोगन लेके वर्ल्ड ट्रेड सेंटर गिराया था, वो स्लोगन लेके फ्रांस में किसी का सर काटा था because a teacher wanted to discuss something which was considered blasphemous. Because Kamlesh Tiwari took the name of that particular religious figure, he was killed mercilessly after having spent more than 1.5 years in jail. Okay, so that is the real weaponized religious slogan. But that slogan nobody talks about. But then happily they have said that Jai Shri Ram is a weaponized slogan. How did Jai Shri Ram become weaponized slogan? Just because it's a Hindu slogan. And secondly, these are the people, these are the same people you're talking about Ram Mandir. So when the Ram Mandir Nidhi Sankalp was happening, when people from Sangh Parivar were going door to door collecting money and they were getting a lot of support from the ordinary citizens of this country, these are the very same people who are running a campaign saying that inko paisa mat do. These are also the people saying that government should not pay money to build a Ram temple because it's taxpayers' money. So then the Ram Janmabhoomi Nyas said that we don't want government money, we want people's money because it's a people's temple. So they went from person to person, they went door to door collecting money for Ram Mandir. And obviously, only Hindus who were devout and who believed in Sri Ram, and some non-Hindus also, who believed that Ram Mandir is a just demand. It is a demand that has come out of years and years of legal struggle, and it is not something that is an arbitrary demand, and that's why we should pay and we should contribute for it. But these are the same people who ran a campaign, a very, very high decibel campaign, saying that Ram Mandir ko paisa mat do, Ram Mandir doesn't need money, this, that, whatever. तो वही लोग आज बोल रहे हैं कि राम मंदिर के पैसे का क्या हो गया, तुमने तो कभी दिया ही नहीं पैसा, you never paid for the Ram temple, so why should you be bothered? Let the devout Hindu ask the question now, who actually donated to Ram Mandir Nyas. The devout Hindu is happy. The devout Hindu believes that the Ram Mandir will happen, and the Ram Mandir will happen in a very beautiful way. And that temple, so next time, whenever we go to Ayodhya, all of us, we'll feel that we have contributed towards this temple. That's what the devout Hindu believes. So the devout Hindu is not believing in this fake baloney that they have cooked up about the Ram Janmabhoomi Nyas and the so-called land deal. But these are the people who are tom-tomming and making a lot of noise about, so the very same people who 6 months ago said Ram Mandir ko paisa mat do. तो ये लोग हैं, इनको कोई आइडियोलॉजिकल बेसिस नहीं है, इनको कोई एक स्टैंड भी नहीं है. Depending upon how the weather changes, their stand also changes, but their ultimate aim is the same. The ultimate aim is to humiliate Hindus, to make Hindus feel ashamed of being a Hindu, and to always put them on the defensive. Which is why, if you look at all the so-called web series now, you will realize that there's a lot of anti-Hindu content out there. And even in the field of stand-up comedy, even in the field of poetry, even in the field of web series, there's a lot of anti-Hindu comment out there, because that's the easiest way to grab eyeballs. So the modus operandi goes something like this. If you are a very third-rate stand-up comic and nobody really cares, nobody finds your jokes funny, nobody really knows your name other than your few groupies or whatever, you want to become famous overnight. So what do? You obviously are not going to take the trouble of really thinking of new jokes and thinking of witty lines. That's too much work. So you will make a cheap, crass joke about a Hindu religious figure. You'll either make fun of Hindu sadhus or Hindu gods, or if nothing works, then you will make fun of Modi. And you'll make a really crass, abusive joke. You will call it joke. It's not a joke. But essentially, you will abuse Hindu gods and goddesses, or Hindu icons, or Hindu symbols, or if nothing else works, you will abuse Modi. Then what will happen is, predictably, a lot of people will get triggered, because that's the whole intention of making those jokes in the first place. So a lot of people will get triggered. 100 people will comment on whatever you have said. And out of those 100, 99 will basically tell you to take it down, and they will be very polite and very, considering the situation, they'll be surprisingly polite. But it will be that one person who is triggered, or it may be your own fake ID, which you've asked your groupies to write some really bad, really abusive comments or threats. And then you will highlight that one threat or that one comment and say, look at me, I'm being so threatened and my life is threatened. And you will make one whole drama like that some rapper MC Code or whoever, he did the same thing, right? So when his videos surfaced and there was a lot of furor, and these were disgusting videos, he should be in jail actually. Then he made this big drama about, I'm standing in the middle of a bridge on Jamuna and I'm going to commit suicide, whatever. All of it was drama. And then he went and hid somewhere. Then obviously the cops found him out and he was arrested. But what surprises me is that his mother defended his behavior. He basically abused other people's mothers in very crass, very sexist language. And here was his mother saying that, oh, he was an innocent boy, and people out of jealousy took out those old videos. Not one word of censure, not one word of acceptance saying that my son is a jerk and he needs to pay for what he has done. And that is what shocks me. This kind of parental acceptance of such kind of behavior. This anti-Hindu diatribe has been going on for many years. It's not something new. But now, because of social media, it has found its whole new life, because very quickly you can become famous, fame, notoriety, whatever you might want to call it. But very quickly you can be in the limelight, especially in mainstream media, because mainstream media is still largely controlled by the left liberal, I won't call them liberal actually, left illiberal elements. And they will suddenly turn you into a hero. So they will suddenly turn you into a victim. So nobody will talk about the kind of crass lyrics that MC Kodegai did, or the kind of really disgusting videos he made. But they'll say, oh, he's having such mental issues, you should forgive him. It's the aggressive Hindu who is punishing him. And all of this victimhood narrative will be spun around it. That is the norm today in many Instagrammers particularly, and that really concerns me a little bit.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.